what's in control. Not who's in control, what's in control. So be honest. How many of you, your phone dings or vibrates and your first response, even if you're in the car, is to do that? Okay, I do. Oh, thank you for being honest. I appreciate not standing up here by myself. The technology, are we getting to a place where it's controlling us versus us controlling it? That, I believe, is becoming a problem. I'm a big fan of having a cell phone. I can't tell you how nice it is for me to ask Siri for a restaurant recommendation as I'm traveling, and she gives it to me, tells me what the reviews are, and then gives me a map on how to get there. That, to me, is incredibly important. But when that phone dings or vibrates, and my automatic response is that I have to look at it because I might miss something, it's an electronic leash. I learned that you lose about 20% of the melatonin production when technology is present in the room as you're trying to go to sleep. So the melatonin is the natural hormone that helps you sleep. And so when you're losing about 20% of that, it makes it more difficult to fall asleep, more difficult to stay asleep. Then there are studies now that are coming out that's saying that your cell phone, when it's within 5 feet of your head, your brain is active. I'm not talking about like scary radiation and worrying about brain cancer. I don't know that for a fact. I can only tell you what I know. And I do know that it's not radiation, it's ionization that comes out of the cell phones. And so they believe that they're safe right now. In 10 years from now, I might be saying something totally different. I don't know. But what I do know is right now, when the cell phone's within 5 feet of your head, your brain is active. How well are we sleeping if our brains are active, if the cell phone is there? Yes? Yes. Yes. And so your children are going to say things to me like, I need my cell phone because it's my alarm clock. Parents, please get them a clock that beeps. Okay? They're going to say to you, I need it in case of an emergency. You're going to tell them, we have a landline in our house. Somebody will call that. You need to, if you don't have a landline in your house, you may want to go back and get one. It's much easier to get in touch with people with a landline than it is with a cell phone. So we decided to keep ours, and also in case of an emergency, it allows us to turn off our cell phones, and if somebody needs to call us, they can call us at home. So I will tell the kids that. I also talk about the fact that, that our brains are changing due to technology. Our frontal cortex, which is responsible for things like bringing in information and spitting it right back out again, very well exercised. All the multitasking they do, they're super good at it. However, the hippocampus, which is the part of the brain that's responsible for processing things to long-term storage, that's atrophying. Because we don't use it enough. Because we are so quick to move from one thing to another, to task switch, that we're not fully engaging in one task at a time. Homework. I just heard like a big sigh. I'm a proponent of having them try it both ways and seeing if they're more efficient in one way or another. Meaning that they do it their way, where they multitask, where they text and IM and Facebook and Instagram while trying to do their homework, and then they do it my way, which is that they spend 45 minutes on one task, on a specific task, 35 to 45 minutes, whatever it takes. Complete a task, then take a break. Walk around, shake it out. You cannot sit at your computer for more than 60, I don't know if you know this, but ergonomically it's not healthy for us to sit at the computer for more than 60 minutes at a time without getting up and walking around. We are truly hurting our bodies. I sit next to a 10-year-old at physical therapy who has texting thumb. He's got tendinitis in both his hands at 10. We're really hurting our bodies. So if we say to them, look, complete a task, fully engage in a task. There was something that I heard on NPR a couple of weeks ago that said, when you read a book, if you just kind of stand there and you're reading it through and you're not really paying attention to what it is that you're doing, you only light up small parts of the attention center of your brain. But when you fully engage in a book, when you sit down and do nothing else but read that book, every part of your brain lights up. Not just the attention center, but the pleasure centers too, because you are fully engaged. I read on my iPad. That's how I prefer to read. I read news on my iPad, I read books on my iPad, but once I get to a website and that's where I'm going to stay for a little bit, I'll actually turn my iPad into airplane mode so I can't get the push notifications that distract me. It's not that I've stopped using technology, I've just changed the way that I've used it slightly to make it a little bit better so I develop better habits. We have sacred spaces, non-technology spaces in our home. There's a basket by our front door to remind us and anyone who comes into our home that when you come into the house, you put your cell phone or your tablet or whatever device you brought in the basket. And it's just a reminder. It's not like you can't ever use it, but it's just a reminder that you don't need it in your hand and attached to you. If teenagers are feeling anxious when they disconnect from the technology, that's a sign of addiction. That's a problem. They need to be able to put it down. We don't have any technology at our dinner table, unless Katla's in the playoffs, which doesn't happen very often, but then I allow it. We do not allow technology on short car trips either. Not like 9-hour car trips. When I go to Utah with my kids, I cannot talk to a 6-year-old for 9 hours. Then I allow technology. But if I'm picking her up from school or if we're going to a friend's house, I don't. She actually does have an iPod Touch. It's my old iPhone, and she's got like 4 games on it, and she loves it, and I let her play for a certain time. There's a time and a place. But in the car, that's when we talk. That's when we have those conversations. And then I don't allow any technology now anymore in the bedroom at night. None. For anybody. So I'm so glad you said it that way. You're absolutely right. So he's talking about the fact that they have to have it in their hand. It's their watch, it's their camera, it's their entertainment device, it's their communication device, it's their lifeline. And so what I've been working towards is finding a balance in that. I have no problem. In fact, I did it myself. I took a picture of my valet ticket at the airport just in case I lose my valet ticket, because I've done that before. And so now I have a picture of it. And so there are times when I use it. But then when I get in my car, I put it away. When I walked into the airport, I do not walk and text. So I couldn't believe it. I had an 8th grader tell me a month ago that they were actually going to start opening up walking and texting lanes on the sidewalks. He really believed it. I said, you know this is a YouTube joke. He said, no, they're doing it. It's important. It was crazy. So what we have been talking about in our family is we talk about the time and a place kind of situation. And so taking a picture, you have to decide, taking a picture of the specials, really, is that really necessary? You can't stand there and look at it. There's got to be balance. When we do something like we say, okay, you cannot use any technology Monday through Friday for socializing, only for school, and on the weekends it's carte blanche, that's not teaching them balance. Because what ends up happening is then they spend 6 hours on a Saturday doing nothing but being on those devices. And what we need to help them do is be able to complete a task in an amount of time and then move to the next task. That next task should be something that's a little bit more physical, that doesn't use any technology, but then they can go back, they can game, they can text, they can socialize. They need some time to be able to do that. It just doesn't need to be constant. They should keep their phones in their pockets or in their purses and not in their hands. And it's a habit that they have to get into.